Good morning, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a great Wednesday, everyone, and God bless you. God bless America. Alright, let's get right into the news here because there's quite to cover on this Wednesday. And we've been following the Kari Lake Katie Hobbs lawsuit now since December 10th. We've been following the turns of every time that Katie Hobbs looks like she's going to be able to get something dismissed or thrown out or something, and Kari Lake is victorious. And today is like another victory for Kari Lake and a huge loss for Katie Hobbs. That's right. The judge that's overseeing this lawsuit is allowing it to go to trial. It will be the first time since 2020 election lawsuit will be sent to trial. This is a huge win for Kari Lake's team. They are going to be able to present the evidence that they find in next coming days because the trial starts tomorrow, Wednesday, and goes through Thursday. So Kari Lake's team is, I'm sure, working very hard to bring all the evidence that they're ready to present to the court in this trial, that we're going to see take place. I know Katie Hobbs, this is probably a good point that she is starting to sweat some bullets now, because she did not expect this to get this far, neither did the Maricopa County Election Board. Remember, the Maricopa Election Board are the same people who worked together to form a PAC against Kari Lake. So again, a conflict of interest, and then running the election in Maricopa County because they were also using funds to ensure that Kari Lake will lose, and then to have 2/3, 1/3 to 2/3 of the Maricopa County places to vote, have machines and tabulators go down during that time, disenfranchising voters the entire time on election day, where people were waiting an average of 4 hours to go and vote in Maricopa County, which is absolutely ridiculous. It's shameful that that took place. And they allowed it to take place. It was all part of their design in order to help suppress the vote. In Arizona, especially in Maricopa County, because they understood that the majority of the individuals that were going out on election day were going to pull the lever for Kari Lake and not Katie Hobbs. So they had to make sure they suppress that and not allow Kari Lake to have the full force of the people that were there to support her to actually come out and support her. Absolutely diabolical. What these people did, Maricopa County, Katie Hobbs, and the Democrat Party in conjunction with the Republican Party, might I add. So we're going to continue to cover this case that's happening in Arizona. Kari Lake has already vowed to take it to the Supreme Court if necessary. But we will cover this tomorrow. We'll cover this on Thursday. And I'm hoping that we will have a ruling by Friday on this entire case. So we'll see what happens, but we will keep you up to date on what's going to play out here in Arizona as they are going to be ruling on this case. And it states this, it says, breaking: Kari Lake wins right to bring election case to trial. Judge denies motion to dismiss by Katie Hobbs trial to proceed a Wednesday and Thursday. Just to catch you up a little bit. There's Kari Lake's is bringing our election case is going to trial. Katie Hobbs attempted to have our case thrown out and failed. She will have to take the stand and testify. Buckle up, America. This is far from over. We continued on down here, says Maricopa County Supreme Court Judge Peter Thompson dismissed the defendant's motions to dismiss Kari Lake's historic election lawsuit. The trial will proceed with hearings on Wednesday and Thursday of this week. The Gateway Pundit reported earlier that Kari Lake's attorneys gave an oral argument over the motions to dismiss in court this morning. The outcome of today's hearing is huge. This is the first time an election case has gone to trial since 2020. Here's somebody that was commenting on it. Kari Lake's going to trial is one of the biggest victories for election integrity we've had in decades. Don't let them downplay this. It's huge. The Gateway Pundit reported that Kari Lake joined Bandage War Room live from TPUSA America Fest in Phoenix, Arizona to discuss her historic lawsuit. A Ron Beck whistleblower revealed in Legs filing that hundreds of thousands of ballots had no chain of custody documentation. This is shocking and massive violation of the law. 25,000 ballots were added to Maricopa County totals after Election Day with no explanation of why the number of remaining ballots could increase. Also, tens if not hundreds of thousands of mail-in ballots where mismatched signatures were illegally counted in violation of Arizona law. They are going to trial on the major chain of custody issue which could overturn that election. The issues regarding fraudulent mail-in ballots and signature verification was tossed. Ross Tumble shared this breaking news on Twitter. Motion dismissed by Katie Hobbs on the 325,000 with chain of custody issues with Katie Hobbs was denied. See you in court. Also going to trial on the ballot time tabulator issues being the result of intentional actions, and here is the full case. You can check that out in the link in the description so you can go read that for yourself if you like. But yeah, huge victory for Kari Lake and of course a huge loss for Katie Hobbs. So we're going to see this go to trial. And some significant news, and it looks like January 6th committee. Of course, many of these people who are on this committee are on their way out. New Congress is going to be seated here in a couple of weeks. And this is their last-ditch effort. In order to prevent Trump from running for re-election in 2024. They're going to refer criminal charges to the DOJ. And they're going to have Merrick Garland a puppet of the left, far left, and they're going to go after President Trump, and they're going to try to drag him into a DC jury, where the jury is going to be stacked against them with a judge that's stacked against him in order to find him guilty and put them in prison. That is the attempt what the January 6th committee is currently doing. Right now. They're setting a dangerous precedent, and I want this to be utilized. Yes. I want this to be utilized against our own enemies. Now, I want the Republicans to go after Democrats like they've gone after Republicans. I want people in prison. I don't care any longer. This is how you have to do. You have to wield the power when you have it. You can't fake outrage when they're doing to you all. If it was Republican, just imagine how would it be on the other foot. Now? Let them know what it's actually going to be like on the other foot now. No longer do you need to placate the media. You know, they absolutely hate you. So you go after them. You go after the media. You go after the FBI. You go after the DOJ. You go after the Biden regime to go after the Democrats who are in Congress. You go after every single one of them. That is how you wield your power. No longer you are going to sit there and appear on the Sunday shows with Chuck Todd or whoever else there is. And talk about we're looking into the thing and we said the struggling word letter to sew over to DOJ and the FBI, we're going to have them come and testify for us. Now. You set up your own committee. You abolish this one. Well, actually, you refurbish just want to investigate all of the Democrats who are involved in subpoena every single one of them, including Nancy Pelosi, get the tapes out. And then you go after the ACT Blue, which they laundered money during the summer of 2020 riots that they had in the country in fundraising, sending millions of dollars to Democrats and sending millions of dollars to make sure they bail out their little foot soldiers. That's what you do. That is what you do. You don't say here and you play. We're hired to know we have principles. No principles are out, dude. Dude, you do not negotiate with communists. And this is who these people are. They're communist. You don't negotiate with them. You wield the power and you put them in prison. That's what you do. You set a strong, clear message. We're not going to operate in a system where communists have taken over, which is antithetical to the Constitution of the United States of America. No, we're going to go after you. We're going to go McCarthy on you. Red Scare. I want communists routed out of every institution in this nation, from the film nation, from film industry, to the sports leagues, all the way up through government and social media as well. They all need to have a reckoning coming their way, knowing that if they're communists, they're Marxists. They are not welcome in this nation. So let's go and take a look what we have here. Coming to this Gateway Pundit says us. The shame January 6th committee approves criminal referrals against Trump win, which is something I told you was coming. I told you guys this months ago that this was coming. The January 6th committee will vote on Monday, which they did already. The committee approved the criminal referrals against Trump. The January 6th committee also approved a criminal referral against Trump's campaign lawyer John Eastman. The January 6th committee plans to issue at least 3 criminal charges against Trump, including obstructing an official proceeding, conspire to defraud the government, and citing or assisting in insurrection. NBC reported that dude has such a rat face, I swear. This was from NBC News. NBC News here says House January 6th committee voted on Monday to recommend Justice Department to pursue a batch of criminal charges against former President Donald Trump for his role in an effort to overturn the 2020 election, and fomenting a deadly mob at the Capitol. The Select Committee also to game at Trump's top allies on and off the Capitol Hill, who worked with the president to block certification of Biden's election victory and illegitimately keep Trump in power. We understand the gravity of each and every referral we're making today, just as we understand the magnitude of the crime against democracy, as we described in a report rat-face Jamie Raskin of Maryland said, who led the January 6th subcommittee that examined referrals, but we have gone where the Fed acts of love and law have led us into heaven in this. And it has led us here. No. They have already designated where they wanted to go. This is something I had talked about. A few months ago, they had designated where they wanted to be at the end of this criminal referrals for Trump. That was the goal. So all they had to do was make sure they brought witnesses who sat there and had their claims that wanted to go with the narrative. They didn't call any witnesses that went against the narrative. There was no opposition party on that panel. There was no Republican minority on there at all. Liz Cheney and M. Kegs don't count because they were co-opted by the Democrat Party. So it was a full Democrat panel, who was investigating if there was no cross-examination of witnesses. There was none of that. They had video that was already pre-produced by their stooges in Hollywood. They had all their witnesses lined up who would parrot the same narrative. They had their corrupt Capitol Police officers that help incite the January 6th, right? They'd had all that. They already knew where they were going in. We knew, even through all of their sham, primetime videos in areas that they had, the goal was clear. They wanted to prevent Trump from running for re-election again in 2024. That was the goal. That's what they had planned to set out to do. And shocker, that's what they did at the end. Bringing these criminal referrals and sending them over to the DOJ, in which we know Merrick Garland has an axe to grind with Trump anyway. So I do see him pursuing these charges. I do see them putting him up in a DC court somewhere with a jury that will be stacked against them and a judge stacked against. That is the goal. This is what they want. They want Trump again. I said this months ago. They want Trump in handcuffs being paraded in front of the CNN MSNBC cameras. As one final humiliation against President Trump. That's what they want. And that's what they're working toward. Let's take a listen to Liz Cheney, saying in her own words, here in the January 6th of May, everyone listen to this. No man who would behave that way, at that moment in time, can ever serve in any position of authority in our nation. Again, he is unfit for any office. The committee recognizes that our work has only begun. It's only the initial step in addressing President Trump's effort to remain in office illegally. Prosecutors are considering the implications of the conduct that we described in our report. Okay, folks, Liz Cheney is an absolute traitor as why she didn't win her re-election in Wyoming if it's why she's not returning to Congress. They know this is their last-ditch effort in order to prevent Trump from running in the re-election in 2024. That's all this came down to, that and to put away their enemy. That's what they do. This is the welcome to the new democracy brought to you by the mainstream media and the Democrat Party. This is what they have decided to do. There you have it. Banana Republic kind of stuff. Third world dictator kind of stuff. This is where we are currently. Last stages, late stages, and then republic. Ladies and gentlemen, give me your thoughts below. And hit subscribe right now. And I will see you guys next time. Thank you for watching the